Hey everyone, it's Mare from SickMom, and it's time for another Coffee with Mare segment. Uh, I have to say, I'm really enjoying sharing some of these thoughts with you, and I kind of thought I would go through a bit of the genesis of SickMom, I guess. This channel has been in the planning for probably about 2 years. And I may have mentioned that elsewhere, but I didn't really discuss what the delay was all about. Um, I have been wanting to reach out via YouTube and build a community with all of you for a very long time. And the idea kind of came to me just, I have a bit of a quirky sense of humor. So, of course, I thought, well, I know I'm not the only person who's going through chronic illness. I know I'm not the only parent who's going through chronic illness. And, you know, I'm a sick mom, but maybe I'm like, sick mom. Yeah, sick mom. And it's just kind of funny how the play on words just sort of stuck with me. Mare One is over on Facebook, and that is kind of my, I guess, primary outlet for just trying to share good stuff in the world. But with Sick Mom, I wanted to make sure there was a focus on people like me and maybe even people like you who are out there that are living and parenting with chronic illnesses. And you know, these illnesses don't discriminate. It doesn't matter. You could be a judge, you could be a stay-at-home mom, you could be a bus driver, you could be an art teacher, entrepreneur, you could be a doctor, anybody. There's nothing that will exclude you from ever developing a chronic illness. Having your health is one thing, and being fit and active is great, but I'm pretty much living proof that that will not stop you from getting a chronic illness. And it might have made things a little bit worse, even. So, funny story. When I met with Dr. Yi, the geneticist, and we were talking about Ehlers-Danlos, and we were going through my entire medical history. It was a 2-hour consult with Dr. Yi, and I brought my daughter as well, just so that, we could kind of have the conversation about whether or not we think this is a concern now, or if this is something that we just need to be watchful and mindful of. And that's kind of how I've always taken this, is that, I need to be able to look forward and teach my daughter how to care for herself and still have a positive body image, doesn't feel like she's being deprived of anything, and just be an active kid and do the stuff that she wants. Being a ski instructor, playing rugby, doing years and years of yoga, which I didn't need to be more flexible than I am. All of these things have potentially contributed to, I'm not going to say the yoga contributed to, but definitely the skiing and the rugby. Even though it was only one season of rugby, I injured myself plenty that year, and that contributed to my spinal trauma. So we count it in there because it's a very rough sport. But anyhow, having been competitive and been just so full of passion for a sport and living that as my life for such a long time when I was younger, I'm so grateful that I did that. I'm really, really thankful, because I was living life to the fullest. And in those days there was just no talk of chronic illness, right? Like, I just knew that I was tired and I was in pain all the time, and that wasn't exactly the norm, because I had a lot of friends who were fit and active and did not have pain all the time. And it just took me a while to clue in that the rest of the world, for the majority of it, is not in pain all the time. And I had to figure that out, because I thought everybody was like me and that they were just living with some kind of pain that just never went away all the time. Anyhow, back to Dr. Yi. He said, yeah, you A-types, A-type competitive athletic people that, really played hard when you were young. By the time you get to 50, you're pretty much screwed. Yeah, you've already got the body of an 80-year-old on the inside. But I look young. That's another thing that's with EDS. A lot of people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome look much younger than they are. And I get teased about it sometime when people find out that I'm 45 because they're just like, what? So, which I think is funny. I look in the mirror and for me, I think I look 45. I think I look like a pretty good, okay 45, especially when I don't look tired and I might actually have a little bit of makeup on. But I do fully get the sensation of having the body of an 80-year-old on the inside. And that was something that, I kind of realized, okay, you know what? I've really enjoyed my life and I've had a really good, I've really just such a variety of experiences. And, that I can't begrudge that for, maybe making my chronic illness worse now as far as the Ehlers-Danlos goes. Because I'm just thankful that I did it. I'm thankful that I went out and lived. And parenting a child who may or may not have inherited the genes, I talk to her about being healthy. I talk to her when she's in pain or if she's having growing pains or, we talk very openly about that kind of stuff and what we can do. So she's already quite familiar with things like essential oils, and I've been massaging her legs since she was very little, and we've talked about self-care quite a bit. And I'm hoping that somewhere in the future, should she need that knowledge, that at least she has a really good place to start. But just even sharing that with you, if you're a parent, you can probably understand how daunting it is to have a genetic illness that you may have potentially passed on to your child. I don't dwell on it. And I just wanted to bring light to it because if any of you are in that situation, you may or may not be dealing with that information very well. Some people will jump to the place where they blame themselves. And I will not blame myself for something I didn't know about because I didn't get diagnosed with this until many, many, many years after my daughter was born. I think she was probably like 7 when I was diagnosed. Nor do I ever regret having her. She's my one and only. She is my entire world. And I can't see my life without her. It is so much better with her in it. And I'm grateful for her every day. If she has, pulled the short straw and got the 50% possibility where she did actually inherit this and it does manifest into something, I'm really hoping that through advocacy and research that there's going to be a lot more advances by the time she might need it. But it's really important to just dwell not on that, but on the present and being present with her and just trying to enjoy life with her as much as possible every moment of every day that she's with me. And if you all have those tweens and preteens, my daughter's 11, you know what I'm going through. We have days where we're just getting on like a house on fire. Everything's fine. And then suddenly it's like, oh, wow, okay. So the teenager decided to show up all of a sudden. So we're having that conversation now. And I know that there's a lot more of that to come. And I know that this too shall pass, but I have always tried to just remember that right now, who she is right now is fleeting, and that I want to enjoy as much of that as possible so that I can share those stories with her when she gets older, and that there's just so much going on in a child's life when they're at that age. So I think my time is better spent just trying to be the best mom to her that I can. And I am very fortunate. She's super compassionate, and she doesn't know me any other way than being quite ill. That's something that I've had to really work on within myself as well. That, we all kind of have these idealized versions of ourselves when we're in, our late teens and early 20s and even into our 30s about what life's going to look like and having a family and what kind of parent you're going to be. And, I fully saw myself as that mom that was going to be going skiing with her kid every week, and and that we'd be traveling together and doing all kinds of wonderful things. That so far there's been very little of that because I've just been too ill. And part of being too ill means not being able to work. And when you don't have a safety net and you are a single parent and you stop running a business, it can get pretty challenging. We have taken those challenges in stride, and yes, I've had my bad days where I've just gone, oh my God, like, how are we going to make it through this? Thankfully, she has a great dad, and he just loves her to bits, and he has been very supportive with her as well, because she's got one parent who is perfectly healthy, and she's got another parent who some days can barely get out of bed because it's too painful, or that the fatigue is just overwhelming. So just remember to be kind to yourselves. And that is part of my mandate with SickMom, is to just help share that message and spread that message, regardless of whether you have a chronic illness or if you're dealing with just a lifestyle change. For some people, it's not chronic illness that plagues them, it's other things. So whatever it is that you are going through in your life right now, just take a moment to appreciate those who are along for the ride with you, whether that's your kids or if it's a partner or your friends. Just take a moment to love on them and just appreciate them. Sometimes the isolation of chronic illness will lead people to believe that they don't have the same worth, or that they can't contribute in the same way. And I find that the best thing to do in that situation is to actually still look at who you are at the core of your being. Are you someone who's very kind and generous? Are you someone who just has really great ideas? You can still be an idea person and still be very generous with who you are, even though you're sick at home. It looks a lot different. It's not the same as being able to just run out and go to everybody's rescue. Reaching out and supporting your friends in a different way. Sometimes that's just through having conversations and asking people, how are you? And listening for their response. Kind of wanted to start exploring with you why SickMom is around, why it's important to me, and that I am just really, really happy to be able to share some of this with you and share some of the things that I've learned over the years, and that I can maybe help a couple of people out, because that's really what I want to do. I love to help people, so let's make that happen. If you have liked today's video, I would ask that you give us the big thumbs up, give us a like, and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell as well, so you know exactly when the next videos are landing on YouTube. So for today, and oh, wait, just before I go, see, this is me working my mama magic. Yes, I am. I sure worked it today, that's for sure. So it's been a good day, and we're proud of the fact that we baked muffins. Have a wonderful night, y'all, and we'll see you soon. So, SickMom, checking out.